Welcome back to AM Northwest. Whether you're looking for work or searching for a new career, technology has permanently changed the way that you conduct your job search. So here to share her insights, we're happy to welcome to AM Northwest the author of Forget Job Security, career advisor, Dawn Rasmussen. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
That's a shocking title, Forget Job Security.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So many people found out during the last economic collapse that you really can't count on your boss always keeping you on the job.
Right.
You know, it comes down to money, and people are getting, you know, they're having to find out the hard way.
Isn't that, though, kind of a business model shift? And I don't want to be negative about it, but businesses and employees, especially younger workers, realize we don't have to have a permanent relationship here. It works for as long as it works, and then we all move on.
Exactly. And I think the latest statistic from the Bureau of Labor and Industries has about, I think about the average person right now in high school is going to have about 12 jobs in their entire lifetime. I think that number's pretty low. So that tells us that it's a very mobile workforce. And I think a lot of people found that out during the economy.
When looking for a job, you say that 80% of all resumes out there are lousy.
Yes,
wow.
They're pretty bad.
What makes them so bad?
What's the problem?
Well, I think it starts a lot with where people start learning how to write a resume, and a lot of times there isn't any formal training. So what happens is people start just throwing something together, and they don't really know what employers are looking for. And so really what it boils down to is a really not very powerful document that talks about what you offer to an employer, and that really is your personal brand. What can you do for an employer and quantify it?
Do employers know what they're looking for? It seems that oftentimes they just ask for one because they should.
Well, I think employers do know what they want. They are looking for someone who's going to contribute something to the company in terms of value. Are they making money? Are they saving money? Are they saving time? And that's pretty applicable across all industries. So as a job seeker, it's going to be really important for you to think about what is it that you bring to the table that's going to make an employer want to hire you, and that's really what the value is.
So is what you bring to the table your personal brand?
It can be. It's part of it. You have to be very grounded in what you offer to the employer in terms of what have you done in the past, and this is where a lot of people don't keep track of their personal accomplishments on the job. But the personal brand goes beyond that, and really what a personal brand is, what makes you unique? What do you bring to the table that makes you stand out over somebody else? So it's going to be really important.
Creative thinker, team player.
No.
No? Those don't work anymore, do they?
I work with one client who is in the communications department and at a big casino on the East Coast, and so she basically came up with all the employee communications. So we came up with a personal brand, adding volume to the corporate voice, and that is a personal brand because she really helped get everybody's attention and look at all the employee communications as a valuable tool. So that's really what she did. She added voice.
So you almost have to think of yourself as an individual, almost like a company would market in a way what it stands for.
Exactly.
Right?
And your resume is your marketing material. Really, that's what it boils down to. And so if you don't know how to write it, then I urge people to go either, go get a book on how to write a resume or hire a professional. You really have to pay attention. If you, when I say 80% of all resumes are terrible, it doesn't do too much math to figure out that, well, I'd want to be in that 20%. So what does it take to get in that 20%? You need to invest in that document for sure.
When it comes to technology, what do we need to keep in mind today?
You need to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're resistant to LinkedIn and some of the other social networks because they're afraid that, well, my privacy might be compromised, but you can control what you put out there, and that's part of your personal brand that extends in the digital presence. And so if you're on, you need to get on LinkedIn, you need to get on some of those other websites, but you need to make sure that what you put on there is consistent and also useful, and you also update it regularly. You don't want to have the lights, but lights are on, but nobody's home kind of situation.
So that you've got your brand, you've got your resume, you're online. How do you focus that job search?
The job search actually begins before you even start thinking about looking for a job. A job search is cultivating your personal brand. That's just not on paper or on digitally, but who you are in person, how you dress, how you write your emails, how are you networking, and how are you adding to your professional development. So the more knowledge you gain, the more opportunity comes your way, the more you share with your office co-workers, the more information, you become more of a resource. And so that all adds up to this personal brand and why you attract opportunity versus having to pursue it.
You also talk about how to tell if someone's job is in danger. So how do you tell?
You know, a lot of it's gut instinct. I can't tell you how many clients have called me and said, you know, I have a bad feeling. There's a lot of closed doors going on, and you know, the company may be having some sale discussions.
Right.
You know, you need to pay attention and get your radar screen on at all times. And you know, any good career manager is going to be thinking about their next opportunity, even if they're happy in their current position. They're thinking, where do I want to go, and how do I want to get there, and thinking about those steps that help you get there along the way.
So trust a little bit of your intuition.
You know, it has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We didn't have enough time to get through all the points, but all very, very good points. We'll have more on the website at KATU.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
we
for
appreciate
having
it.
me. Appreciate it.